Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Wednesday, May 28th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So ticker symbol number one, we are looking at NVTS. Very, very impressive mover today. Did this one last week, and that's where the green and red lines are coming from. But you can see earlier on in the day when the price came up here to that area of resistance that I talked about last week and broke up through there, that is what really generated a big surge in the upwards direction. So great overall technical pattern breakout. So I'll get rid of those lines as they serve their purpose for now. And we'll map out the newest dynamic, which is just a good, solid technical pattern here. So as I draw this into play, please don't think that I'm trying to impress you or imply this is a great talent or a special discovery or anything like that. I assure you a lot of people have drawn in something very, very similar to this. So there's the resistance part of the pattern. There's the support part, so green for support. And then just to make the pattern easiest to see, let's keep it all the same color. So we have our area of resistance. We have our area of support. We have the nice upwards move right here. And then for you golfers out there, make it a little bit more visual. Put the golf hole down here. We're looking at a good quality bull pennant pattern. Now, just because something is in a bullish pattern does not mean for sure guaranteed the price is going to go upwards. But I don't think anybody would be shocked if this thing were to consolidate out, come up here and then get the break and then have that break create more upside buying pressure. So again, not a guaranteed thing to happen, but is it valid? Is it possible that a break at that level could indeed create upside buying pressure? That is certainly a plausible scenario. So if you like this price range down below $10, you like bull pennants, keep an eye on it. Next one here, BBAI did this one last week and talked about this $4.10 mark as a key area of resistance. You can see rejected the price. But then today, price finally got the break up through there and up it went. So broke through a key level, and now we're looking at a very familiar pattern. So I'm going to go through this a little quicker because you literally just heard me talk about it. So I want to respect your time as much as possible. But we have our area of resistance right here. We have our area of support right there. And then just because I can't help myself, let's keep it all one color just to make sure you see it. So resistance, support, big move up right here, golf hole down here. We have ourselves another bull pennant pattern. So once again, if you like this price range right around the $5 mark, you like bull pennants, you have a couple different choices now. Next one, EJH, and we have quite the interesting dynamic here. Big mover all over the place. So started off very strong and then came down, and this is where things get interesting because, right around there, it becomes a very valid question to say, was this just some sort of gap and trap, pump and dump? Is it game over? And then all of a sudden, the price did at least start to go sideways here a little bit. Now, let me be very clear. Just because the price has started to go sideways does not mean for sure guaranteed this pullback is over and for sure guaranteed there's going to be a curl back upwards. My point here is it at least becomes valid at this point in time. Case in point, let's just say the price was still just dropping, and then I'm sitting here saying, hey, it's looking like this could be the bottom. You'd be totally justified to say, wait, what are you talking about? Based on what? The price literally still just dropping. But that's not the case here. It has at least started to go sideways. So again, does that mean it's a guaranteed bottom? It doesn't. It just becomes more plausible. So on that note, in my opinion, that level right there as support, very interesting level because as long as the price does stay above there, then you can at least throw out the suggestion that, hey, maybe just maybe the pullback is over and maybe just maybe this thing wants to curl back upwards. So definitely showed today that it can move and it can move very quickly. So yes, is this pullback finally over? Is it stabilizing out? And is this thing getting ready to curl back upwards? Grab your popcorn for Wednesday. Next one here, TSLL. Again, if you watched this, top 10 video last week, then you know that I talked about this one and we were watching 1560-ish as a key area of resistance. And you can see earlier on in the day, price came up here, broke very nicely through there. So that is where the first update comes into play just based on a foundational rule in charting, which states when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. And that's what I would call the ideal level of support. When you say, hey, Clay, what would make this chart look the absolute strongest moving forward? And that'd certainly be if the price can stay above 1560. But from the overarching standpoint, the level to watch is that purple line there, 50 period, simple moving average. Keyword being moving. So as time goes by, that line is going to move itself higher and higher. So in other words, as long as the price stays above that overarching line that's trending upwards, well then by definition, the price itself is uptrending, and that's what a truly strong move is going to do. So again, preferably speaking, staying above 1560 would be great. But as time continues to drift past, as long as the price stays above that purple line, the bulls are in full control. In terms of areas of resistance and in regards to levels that you'd want to keep an eye on from the resistance side of things, no need to overcomplicate it. just ask yourself a very basic question. Where did the party stop today? And you can see several occasions today, price stopped right up here at right around basically $16.50. So keep a close eye on that. But anyway, look at it. Very, very good start to the week. Next one, NVDA. Very, very impressive day. Not necessarily because it was green, but when you just consider where the price was on Friday and how it had gapped down and was starting to flirt with the bottom part of the sideways channel down here at 131.50. The fact now that this thing has worked its way back upwards, good solid movement, and it's definitely in what I would consider kind of the upper half or upper portion of this sideways channel pattern that's been going on for the past few weeks. So like I said, with the price being right here, and I go back through, you can see certainly in the upper half of it. So that's kind of the bigger picture standpoint. The price is still technically within the sideways channel, but it's definitely at the upper part of it. And then just I'm going to draw this very crudely. We have, if you want to make an argument for a bull flag, a bull pennant, I don't think anybody would put that much, argument and pushback against that. But even with that being the case, you don't want to get too excited about it because, once more, from the grand scheme of things, the price is still technically trapped within the sideways channel. So yes, it's got a nice bullish pattern after today, but still stuck between that sideways channel. But who knows? Maybe tomorrow is finally the day where the price can get up through 136.30. We'll see what happens. Real quick, want to take a break and first invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering later on in the week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down below in the description area you can use. Or if you're watching right at my website, there's an area there on the webpage you can use to sign up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. Next one here, QBTS, and today had a bit of a pullback. And overall, the chart's doing just fine. The only thing that makes me kind of hesitate a little bit is the price is still potentially now knocking on the door of maybe getting a bigger break of this green line here, $17.50, which I talked about last week. But again, to be fair, the price did do a good job of maintaining right around this area. But that is something that, assuming you care about the bigger picture, you're going to want to monitor pretty closely on Wednesday, because what you don't want is any sort of further separation. Again, further separation does not mean that the entire chart is destroyed, but it does start to suggest that, okay, maybe, just maybe, the bears are a little bit stronger than what they appear right now. Because right now you could still, make a very valid argument that sure, the price is pulled back, but you still have lows here, you have lows here, you have lows down here. So there's really nothing to worry about. And again, that is a perfectly fine argument. But like I said, the further it breaks to the downside, the more and more that argument falls apart. And from a bullish standpoint, that's not exactly, you don't want to see your bullish arguments falling apart. You want to see them be strengthened or at least remain the same. And remain the same, would at least imply that, the price stays above or at least around that 1750 mark. So continue to watch that. And then from the resistance side of things, in the very near term, you do seem to now have an area of resistance right there, that purple line there. But more so from the overarching level, nothing has changed here. Still all about that red line up there at $19.50. Next one here, IMNN, and this will mean a little bit more to those of you that watched the video I did last week where I talked about this pattern here. And in fact, let me just extend this out so you can see it a little bit better. But we had that resistance area right there, and you can see that earlier on in the day, the price came up there, broke through it, and then the rest is history. Very, very impressive breakout, especially this afternoon as the volume kicked back into high gear here. So overall, good, solid, bullish day, no doubt about that. And now it's just a matter of getting things updated. And as of right now, we basically have a little miniature bull pennant pattern. So in the very near term, you can see we have this little upwards trend line right there. And then in the very near term, we have, the price struggling right there at that area right there. And just to keep it all one color. So we have our support, we have our resistance, we have the nice move up right here. Then we have the golf hole down here. So we have ourselves another bull pennant pattern. Now, even if the price were to break to the downside, and I'm not saying this will occur, but if the price were to come down here and then stabilize out, think about what you'd still have from the big picture perspective. You'd still have a set of lows there, you'd have lows here, you'd have lows down there, and if you envision those as stair steps, you'd still overall have stair steps progress in the upward direction. So by no means, if the price were to break to the downside of that pattern, does that mean that everything's destroyed? That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that preferably if the price can stay inside of that pattern and then get a break to the upside, the chart would definitely be operating at max efficiency. Next one here, FAAS, and I'm going to go through this one very quickly because you've already heard me talk about the pattern several times before. But yes, we were looking at another bull pennant pattern. So let me change that a little bit. So there's our area of resistance. Here is our area of support. And then let me just keep it the same color here. So resistance, support, big move up, golf flow down here, we're looking at a multi-day bull pennant pattern. So if you like penny stocks, you like multi-day patterns, here you go. Next one, DNN, and this is a little tricky to talk about because it's all about perspective, meaning if you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, whatever you want to call yourself, and you bought right there and your plan was to buy and sell within 7 minutes, well then yes, from that standpoint, the chart's looking pretty rough because there was this bigger pullback here. But assuming you care about the bigger picture point of view, everything is still perfectly fine because when you look at where the price leveled out here, and then you look at these lows, and then you look at those lows, and then you look at these lows down here, and if you envision those as stair steps, then as I've talked about in other charts, these stair steps very clearly still in the upwards direction. Again, I'm well aware that if you're a day trader that bought right there, you don't really care about these overarching stair steps. That's why I'm trying to distinguish things from more of a day trader standpoint versus somebody that cares about the bigger picture point of view. So assuming you do care about the bigger picture point of view, even with the pullback today, the overall chart still very much so in the upwards direction. And as long as the price keeps on building these higher stair steps, that's what matters most. Next one here, TSLA Tesla, and it finally happened, and this will mean more to those of you that have watched past videos, but the price has just been struck and struggling with that 352.50 mark. I mean, just for the longest time, just downside of this channel, but you can see this morning, price came up here, got the break, and then got more follow through. So overall, officially a break here, so that brings about our first update, which I stated earlier, when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. So ideally speaking, the level you want to see hold strong now is 352.50 because what you don't want to see happen is for the price to come down here and then break down below there. Does that mean the entire chart's destroyed? It doesn't, but it would just be put on the price, well, back inside of this big old range like it just showed that it just broke out of. And assuming you're bullish, you don't want to see the price falling back inside of that sideways range. You want to see it start to make progress forward. So even if the price were to come down here and bounce off the top of the range and then head back up, from an overarching standpoint, you'd still have plenty of progress because you could say, well, you have a low there and a low at the bottom part. And then again, going back to the stair steps, you'd still have good progress. So as far as what would make the chart look the absolute strongest moving forward, definitely staying above 352.50, just because, like I said, that would be keeping it outside of the range that it just broke out from. In terms of levels of resistance, no to overcomplicate this, just where did the party stop today? And that was right up there at 363.80. So keep a close eye on that. But overall, great movement. Pretty crazy final 30 minutes when you stop and think about it. At one point, the price was down here. Now it's recovered all the way back up there. So we'll see if this is a leading indicator of more momentum that carries it up through that area on Wednesday. But all in all, great day. Great start to the week here for Tesla. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about the tool, then definitely go get signed up for the free live class. It'll be later this week. Like I said, Thursday, May 29th at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, make sure you hit that like button and also hit that subscribe button. Especially, I have been going live. So I've begun a live stream. And if you want to know when I do go live, by hitting that subscribe button and turning on notifications, you'll be notified of when I do indeed go live. So make sure to do that too if you want to come watch me trade live, ask questions, or just hang out during the day. So thanks for watching. And again, make sure you get signed up for that free class. Take care.